Hey everyone, welcome back to Where Am I? I'm not in Minnesota anymore. That's right. I made a trip down to Clack Shack here, and well, yesterday we went out to an event. We were hanging out at May's, and I got to see firsthand the portable Clack Shack in action. And as you've seen on both of our channels, we've been playing around with the atomstack A24, and we're both loving these for portable machines. And he's got his bolted down on his table in a nice way. Everything's organized, things are locked in place. And I got to looking at it at the event and thinking, I need to make something like that, but I don't have a big trailer and the whole portable table to work on. So we came up with an idea. We're going to mount it to a board, get everything locked in place, but still portable that I can slide it in and out of my van. So we're going to take a look at that. We'll talk with Clack about how we made this and crank this out in the afternoon. So if that interests you, stay tuned. We're going to jump right into it. All right, so here's our finished project, and we're going to talk a little bit through this, and then I'll show you more in detail how we made it. But the basis of it is roughly about 24 inches wide, actually 23 3/4, and about 30 inches deep. Wanted the laser locked in place, and wanted to capture the air assist pump. I'm running 2 power supplies because I wanted to be able to turn the fan on and off, so we ran the switch up front. Then we made some nice cable management and such. So down here with Clack's plethora of machines, we decided to use a number of them. So what we go through on this? We made the base plate on the Shapeoko, right?
Yeah, well, we ran out of half-inch plywood, so we had to go source some of that. But we got a sheet of half-inch plywood, and Steve kind of drew it up, and using the measurements of the machine that we started with, of course, being the A24, we had like 1/4 inch of material to spare on the width. And then on a 24 by 48 sheet, you know, we had extra on this end, but Steve sat over here and drew that up. We actually did use the exact same file that I created for the portable shack to hold the machine in place. And then everything else, I think, was just kind of we used parts of my little pieces, such as the honeycomb part that holds the honeycomb in place. We used that for the air assist and just made a bunch of other little parts. But we used the Shapeoko to do the main board with, and then the A70 to cut some half-inch material for the main holders, and then we used some 1/4 inch birch that I had left over to do some of the other stuff. But so far we've had the Shapeoko, the A70 Pro, as well as the X40 all helping on this project, because Steve was doing some configuration and designing while I was over there on Lightburn either making or modifying pieces that I already had to help put this thing together. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it worked out really well because we kind of took the ideas from Clack's design. He started cutting out the corner pieces, so then I was able to kind of piece these on the board and start feeling out where things are going to fit. And part of it too is we wanted to have a handle. Now, it's not the idea that this is all fixed in place and can't move. We can still pull the laser up off of here because it's still pretty, it's got some weight to it, which is good. But when trying to transport it around, I didn't want this big unwieldy board, so we cut a handle into the backside. We thought about putting it up front, but thought that would kind of get in the way, and then it fits in between the power and the air pump back there. So I kind of would throw out some design ideas and say, okay, can you cut me one of these? And he'd pull it up on either the X70 for the thicker material or the A40 for the thinner stuff, and just kind of piecing things in place and cutting out parts, which worked out really well. Even cutting in these little Velcro holders. They're almost little dog bone pieces. I'll kind of show you that, little B-roll of that, and mounting them in place just to do a little cable management, but didn't want anything permanent. So we used Velcro straps so we can undo those. And so we can strip this down just to the board. About the only thing that we weren't sure on is this front switch this is for the air exhaust. And we ended up using some 3M, that high adhesive stuff. But we mounted it to a little piece of wood. So that's still removable. If I need to temporarily move it, I can put it back in place. Or if I really needed to pop it off, I'd be able to pull that out and separate them.
Oh, I forgot one machine.
And I was going to say, there's one more machine we used. And guys, it wasn't my color choice. But being out here at the Clack, he's got his salmon colored filament.
It's orange.
I think we agreed that it's candy corn orange.
No, it's not. It's Clack Shack orange.
All right, so that's Clack Shack orange. But up front here, This does have a manual focus, and so it has this block that you can either lay down if you've got the shroud on, or you can stand up on end to focus your piece. Well, we wanted this to stay with it, and we don't want it to fall out. So you got a real nice tight tolerance, but it's not so bad that you can't pull it out, but it's not going to come out just falling. So, you kind of hear it there. It's just me pulling up on there and hitting the frame, but it's in there nice and secure. Keeps it nice and handy, but it's out of the way. The lid comes down, doesn't interfere with it at all. So kind of real simple thing, 3D printed it.
Yeah,
and,
I just went over in Fusion and drew it up. We actually discovered that we had a need for one of those yesterday at the event for Maymay's because I kept losing mine.
Right.
And I was like, man, I really should have built me a holder for this. And so as soon as we started this job, I was like, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create the file, and I'm going to make 2 of them. So I sliced it and did 2 of them per print and just let it print on the Creality while we were out here working. But I've actually got another one still laying right over there. That hasn't been mounted anything with the adhesive and everything on it.
It's right here, just the adhesive on the back, and that's going to go on yours in the
Yes,
clack shack.
That's the one for my portable shack. We hadn't installed it yet because we've been out here messing with this today. But yeah, it's I like it. It's for what you're doing with it, being able to break it down and put it together. And like I said, if you're at an event and you need to move it, everything is secured enough. Now I would probably do a team lift, but you got the handle here and the other side.
You could move it as is, and I mean, I could even move it in and out of the car this way, and kind of keeps things tight. But it's the idea is this is a nice form factor. It's big enough to do 90%, 95% of what you're going to do on site at a show.
Yeah, we can turn it around even.
Yeah, we can move it around. It comes, if you get the base unit plus you add on their enclosure, the nice thing about this is it's, you've got your shielding. You can show people what you're doing because that's kind of part of the wow factor at events. They go, oh, that's really cool. I've never seen one work. It draws people in, but this keeps it all contained. End of the day, if you're tearing down and you're coming back the next day, you don't have to completely disassemble. You could, you could team lift it into the vehicle or whatnot.
And if you had, like I said, if you're driving an SUV or something, you technically could leave all of this sitting on here because unless you're involved in an accident, nothing should go anywhere.
Right.
Everything is either held in place with Velcro or is in really deep pockets that holds it in place. So if you're somebody that does events and say you have an SUV that you can back up to your garage door and just, maybe have somebody help you lift one side and you could lift this up and set it in the back of the vehicle. Another thing that we were talking about and that we thought about is I use a lot of these little roll around carts and stuff here in the shack. This is something that you could, set it up like this on a cart using the basic same principles and have it just be neat and organized for you to use. You could literally have this where you could store it away, lift it up, put it on a cart, roll it around, use it, and then go put it back if you needed to. So, I mean, there's a lot of different applications, but I think for what you're doing, putting it in the van and transporting it and using it, I think this is definitely, it's pretty clean. I got to give it to you.
Yeah, we worked that pretty well to keep it minimalist, but get everything together and able to lock it down. But still, I wanted that. I'm a person who likes options. I like having some flexibility, and this will allow me if I need to, take it inside, move it downstairs or something, and this just doesn't fit on the table. I can still remove everything else, stash the board. It's not going to take up a lot of space, and it doesn't lock me into this or
oh yeah, because with the handle you could even just hang it on a hook.
Yeah, you could
and hang it on the wall.
This is the kind of thing that you're gonna get one of those 5 or 6 foot folding tables or something and still keep it fairly portable. As a matter of fact, that's probably a similar footprint to half of one of those smaller tables.
I think we decided earlier that it would, but the thing about it is the way we've got it constructed too, even if you have a smaller table, and let's say your table is only 24 inches.
Yeah.
You now have the ability for this stuff to kind of hang off the back of the table.
Yep.
And there's no danger because, the balance is going to keep it on the table, but it actually would kind of extend your usable space of your table because all of the extra stuff that you don't have to touch constantly would be on the back of the table. And that would afford you the rest of the table to be used for conducting business and doing designs and stuff. So it's pretty neat.
Now, the only thing I don't have included in here is just the air. The vent is just going straight out. Where I'm at this week and where I'm going to be mostly using this. It's outside, it's outdoors. There's going to be campfires half the field anyway, so no one's going to really care that I'm making smoke out of this. But we did kind of leave the space here. If you have a pipe or, you got a portable smoke extractor, you'll be able to still hook that up. It's not going to get in the way of anything there. But for my purposes this week, I didn't bring any of that stuff because I knew I'd be outside in an open air environment that really no one's going to care. So, but keeping that in mind, wanted to have that flexibility to be able to use that. So,
yeah. So now everybody, me and Steve both are rocking the A24 for our portable setups. And like I said, we used mine yesterday at Maymay's, and I was using it to cut out a few pieces while we were there. I was doing a lot of, because it was one of the slower days at her open house. Me and Steve were talking to people, but as we were doing so, I was cutting out some, just getting some stuff together, making some files, designing some stuff, coming up with new ideas. Because like Steve said, part of the appeal of doing events to people is when they look over there and they see this machine is working, it piques their interest and curiosity, and they walk over. And when they walk over, that gives you a chance to engage with them and explain to them what it is that you do, what the machine is, and how you can create basically anything they can imagine making from a piece of wood. And I think the high visibility of machines like this is what sells it. It's what drags people in to be able to see it. And that's why even if I'm not making something for somebody, and Steve will contest to this, I had my machine running a lot, even though I wasn't doing things for people on orders. I wanted the machine moving and doing stuff to draw people over to go, hey, what is that? Where do you get those?
Yeah, conversation's a great way to draw people in. I mean, you don't want it. There are some people that want to just browse, and you got to kind of pick up those cues. But anytime you can engage with people and your booth, and sometimes that's hard. For some people, it's hard to make that conversation. Well, just talk to them about what you're doing. Show them some of the things you can do. Talk to them about setting up the file and let them see the stuff in action, and that'll get their gears turning, and it breaks the ice, and hopefully helps maybe build a sale or referral and such. So definitely using the prop and the tool as a draw to your booth can be big for your sales.
Yeah, the only thing it's missing is we've got to figure out if we want to take this piece of plexiglass here off and engrave a Clack Shack logo on it, or if we're just going to put a sticker there, right?
Yeah, no, well, we'll like I said, I told Clack that Maker's Mark go on the bottom of the machine, so we'll get one of those stickers down there so he feels better about it. But then people don't have to look at it the whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, just thought this was an idea that came up while I'm visiting down here. We cranked it out this afternoon, and thought we'd put video together, share the idea with you all, and hopefully spark some ideas for you on your portable setup. And it's gone well.
Yeah, it wasn't a hard process. And Steve, like I said, Steve's got some video of the process as we done it. Just some little things here and there. So you might want to watch that part as well to kind of pick up on how you could do your machine this way. Even if it's not the exact same machine, there are always the methods that we use are very simple, very basic. And most anybody that can operate Lightburn can create the components to do this.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah. Sometimes projects like these just get the creative juices going. That's why so many woodworkers will do a lot of shop projects, because they want to do something, but they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, I have this need, and then that can spur other things. And so, sometimes just working through these problems gets you to figure out how you can make that little widget or that brace or whatnot. So,
yeah, this is very neat. I like it. It gets a thumbs up. Steve done good on this one.
Well, I appreciate the use of your shop to do this and your help on it. It's been a fun collaboration project, and I'm sure there'll be more to come as I'm here for a couple more days.
So as we stated earlier, we started out by cutting out the base piece out of some 1/2-inch birch plywood, and we're using the Shapeoko 5 Pro that Clack has, along with the 1/8-inch downtown Jenny bit from Cadence Manufacturing. It all worked out very well. We also used the atomstack A40, which is 40-watt laser, to cut out some of the 1/4-inch plywood, and then also the X70 to do these corner pieces, which are out of 1/2-inch plywood. So we started by gluing down the front ones. We added screws basically act as clamps, and wanted to get the front kind of positioned and squared, and then we squared up the body to the sides, added some back brackets, again using some glue and screws. Then we wanted to move into the honeycomb. We kind of put it into the front left corner there and added just one bracket. We're not gluing this one in just in case we need to move things around, but just a couple screws holding that bracket in place. Then we could go back to the rear side and we locked in the air pump. Again, this is just kind of acting as braces to hold it in place. You can lift it up if needed. And laser cut this little caddy to kind of hold the power bricks in place. You see us trying to just figure out getting it square and making some room for cable management, and just lock this down with screws. Again, trying to be a little flexible in our positioning. Using some Velcro straps for now to see if we can hold those in place, because I don't want them locked permanently. And on the side, went ahead and made these little dog bones for some cable management straps there with some Velcro. Put one on the back that we can kind of keep things all together as well. The few polishing touches on the cable management, we then went ahead and 3D printed the focus block holder. And here you'll see that we're going to go ahead and attach that with some of that 3M adhesive. Just stick it in on the front so it sits up off the board, but also out of the way of the lid so that it can close and open easily.
Anyway, thanks for checking this out. I hope this has inspired you to do something similar with your laser. Maybe you're interested in the atomstack A24 or some of the other machines we used. I'll have links down below where you can check those out. Many of those will be affiliate links, and they do give a small kickback to me at no additional cost to you. So I appreciate you use them if you are looking at this purchase, but as always, no pressure. Also, I have links down below to the Clack Shack and his channel and such. So it was fun hanging out with him. And if you haven't followed him yet, go check him out. He's got a lot of good content about lasers, CNCs, bees, and sawmills and everything out there. So a lot of fun stuff there to follow as well. Thanks for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational or maybe just entertaining. We had a lot of fun making it. So there'll be more to come, but I hope in the meantime, you can get out in your workshop and make something too.